Hey everybody, Barry here again. I got my shirt tucked in and I'm ready to go. I don't know why that sounded so weird. It sounded funny in my head. Don't unsub. So today I've got to figure out how I'm getting these bolts out of the old Turbskis here. Where's the one that's broken off? Okay then, it'll be like that. So here's one that's broken off in the bottom right here. Another one broken off right there that you can see. Here's another one. And the fourth bolt is right here. If somebody knows more about metallurgy than I do and how heat impacts the metal and its strength, let me know, because 4 bolts twisted off. I only put them in 2 months ago. Driven the truck a total of probably 10 hours. A couple hundred kilometers, you know. This is not time. Salt and weather didn't seize these bolts in, but I've got about a quarter a turn and it went snick and broke completely, cleanly off. So more on that later, I guess, but I'm going to try to take them out. So if I can get the bolts out in a relatively sensible time, I may be able to put all this back in and drive it home at the end of this video. Now, I don't know, I can't say for sure, but it would be kind of cool if I did, because it's, we're talking like, it's like October now, which terrifies me, and snow is coming. I could actually cry saying that out loud. So I'm not into it at all. But I want to drive this thing before it gets too cold and my windshield just freezes over, and I don't have a heater, so that's the end of the line for this thing until next year. Let's take them out. I think I'll try the turbos first. I don't want to ruin them. Actually, I don't want to drop it either. That would be not good. Yeah, this is so heavy. For a small turbo, it's got some weight to it. So, yeah, I've got to get that out. I don't really want to touch those bolts either. Maybe I'll just stuff a rag down there and pray that no slag gets in there. You'll hear the welder in the background, but I have a nut. Oh, wrong one. I have a nut. And I'm going to weld it onto the back side of this one, actually. The nut is able to rotate, so I think it'd be easier if I pulled it through this way. If it doesn't work, I'll try the old school way, but man, I'm really hoping this is going to work. I just don't want to mess up the surface down here or warp anything up. And I'm going to stuff a rag on the turbine side here. And another rag up here. I don't want anything getting in there. So let's see what happens. Man, I hope this works. Try to break that bond a little bit. This stuff's amazing. Well, let's see. I doubt I'll be able to drill it out. Oh, it looks like it wants to move. It's going a little tiny bit and then it just stops. I don't know if it's completely cooled down yet, but it feels like it is anyway. Man, this is just in there. I'd really like to know why that twisted off so easily. Like, these are LS bolts. They're made to take a nice bit of torque. And if it works this way, pulling it out through the back, then I'll do the same thing with the others. Like, it's actually completely free now by the looks of it. But I'll 100% be putting anti-seize on these bolts. I'm not dealing with this again. And it's still fighting me right to the end. Right to the bitter end.
I like to spray the deep creep on when it's hot because it gets right in around the threads and sort of boils it. And it works really well like that. I'm sure everybody's got their own way of doing things, of course. But that's just what I do. That's a weird one. The bolt didn't even try to come out when I unscrewed it. Just broke right off. Here we go. Great success. Look at that. Out it comes. I'll make sure all of my gaskets and stuff are not burnt out. Look at this. Here we go. Out it comes. So excited. There we go. And now we can celebrate because the last bolt is out. One thing I want to bring up is, are the LS bolts coated with something? Because you can see that this one's got like a dull gray to it, whereas next to a regular bolt that just came off the shelf, it's kind of like just shiny metal, whereas this is very gray. So is it possible that this coating melted off or burnt and jammed up the threads? Somebody has any information on that, let me know.
So the bolts are out. It was 4 hours ago, so I'm reintroducing myself here. The bolts are out. I just need to bolt everything back together now and not use those LS bolts anymore because apparently they don't like excessive heat over and over and over again.
So anyway, this just got to go, all this got to go back
in there somehow. So just like the last video, I'm just going to do a check-in here and there just to get this all put back together because I've done it on video now probably like 20 times and I don't want to annoy everybody doing the same stuff over and over. So we'll do random check-ins and then maybe we'll go for a drive if it's not too dark. I've got the plugs gapped up and you can see right here, where am I? Right there. 25 thousandths, look at that. This is the one new plug that I replaced because the old plug, which is right here, the TR6, you can see that the first few threads are rolled pretty good there. They're really flattened out, so I'm kind of afraid that it would ruin the cylinder head if I put that back in. The plug was burning just fine, but I don't want to risk it. So yeah, all the plugs gapped up, 25 thousandths. Good soup. We're getting somewhere. Slow progress because one piece has to go in. There is no step 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3 with this one. Man, everything has to be like just so for it to work. So in this order, I had to put in the back spark plug, the back bolt for the exhaust manifold, and I ultra coppered the life out of it because that's what I do, because I hate leaks. And for me to change a manifold on this is like 8 hours work. so I don't want to have to do it twice.
So anyway, I ran ultra copper around the header, slapped the gasket on, ultra copper around each port on the gasket. The header had to go in and then up onto the cylinder head, put each bolt in, lying on the floor, reaching in with like 4 extensions, like this one, and these hooked together and in through the wheel well, and then get in under and put the plug wires on. And then, and only then, do I bolt on this alternator bracket. And now I can bolt on the water pump.
And everything from here on out is actually pretty quick work. It's not really a big deal from now on. It's still going to take some time because I got a lot of hoses to hook up, a lot of exhaust, that kind of thing. So, you know, it's still going to be a little bit of time, but it's all assembly now. There is no adjustment. It's just bolting stuff together.
So I'm very excited. I just got to put my radiator back in after and hook up the intercooler piping. This is very easy stuff.
The nice thing about remove and replace or remove and install is there's no modification. There's no fabrication. It's just bolt it on. So stop talking, Barry, and bolt stuff on.
Making it through slowly but surely. I've got the belt on, water pump. Here's the steam vent that goes to the top of my water pump. And actually that's about it. I should have done more work before I checked in. There. We got 2 arms now. How cool is that?
Of course, I ultra coppered that side too, with a little bit of extra little bit of tender love and care, so that I never have to hear that Ford F-150 5.4 manifold leak again. Not into it. So I did 2 rounds of ultra copper on each side of the gasket. Yeah, that'll show them.
Done. I have to unbolt this, which is actually kind of tight. I got to unbolt that now, flip it around, put it back in, because it would not go in place. Everything here is super tight. I should have just unbolted it in the first place, but I don't learn. This is going to be a little bit sucky,
because I mocked up my Y pipe from the turbos out and had everything tacked together, what I thought was good, brought it over on the bench, welded it all the way around. Turbos did not fit. I actually had to ratchet strap the 2 turbos together to get them close enough to get the bolts to fit, which is ridiculous. It should not have to be like that, but obviously I didn't do enough welding with the turbos and the manifolds all set up. But
I mean, you got a lot of real estate here. There's 2.5 feet of pipe between the header and the turbo. You got another foot of pipe here between the header and the turbo. The Y pipe is 1.5 feet long in a section. So the more that this warped, it was very easy to draw these 2 pipes together because of how long it is.
what I'm saying is, I'm surprised it didn't crack the headers. Apparently my flux core welding isn't as bad as I thought it was.
But anyway, not a big deal.
Random checkpoint.
Got a lot done this time. Got a whole lot done. So intake piping on this side is laid in place. The intake piping over here is done. And I've actually got to put the hose on that one. Let's do that now, because that made her pretty freaky the other day. So that's hooked up. Radiator is in and hooked up. I forgot to do my bottom port. I really should have hooked that up now before I forget. It's right there. Next is to bolt the turbos on, hook up the lines, hook the alternator up, battery, just...
Mostly just dumb stuff from now. So, I'm getting there. I just want to maybe drive it home by the end of this video and go for a drive, see how it runs, and, well, figure out what I'm going to do for the next video. So here is an M10 by 1.5 tap in an M10 by 1.5 hole, and I don't know why it's actually cutting threads. Like, it is tight. Look at all the material on the end of this bit. I don't know. This is the one that twisted off, and it did the same thing in this hole right here. Obviously I didn't cross thread them because they were in the whole way, so they would have twisted off. Look at this. And now we're free. That's crazy. That is absolutely nuts. I don't know why it's doing that. Well, this is going shockingly well. And I'm going to say that now before I go to put the Y pipe on, because that's going to be a little bit more of a touchy subject.
So I went ahead and put bolts in here. These are regular old metric bolts, M10 by 1.5. Every one of them went in just like butter. No issues whatsoever. So I'm gonna go put this Y pipe on and see how it goes. Just because I put an ultra copper bolt into this thing because it was actually spitting some exhaust out there and I don't really want that, so I fix it. This stuff is all done. I'm still looming over these flanges, but
Stop whining, get it done. So I'm done? I think I'm done.
I think it has coolant in it. And I actually put coolant in it also. Green stuff. So it's ready to fire up. Test fire anyway, make sure everything is all good, make sure no bolts are loose.
Which I doubt there will be because I didn't really take out any bolts. Just the exhaust. I know they're all tight. Plus, it's got ultra copper on it, so I don't even need bolts.
This is great. So let's fire it up. Let's see how it runs. I gotta bleed the coolant system and put more coolant in it. So there's a customer out front right now. I'm on my lunch break, so I'm gonna wait till they leave before I fire this thing up and ruin their day. Oh yeah, and for anybody wondering, I always make a mess.
We're ready to fire it up. I'm gonna set it up on a tripod. We'll check it over, make sure nothing is leaking, make sure my oil lines aren't leaking, which leaked before. Not right away, but I had it fixed anyway, so I'll make sure it doesn't leak now. And I'll get the coolant bled, and then I'll drive it home this evening.
Good signs.
Close to winter and I've got to put the rat rod away soon and my motorcycles and stuff, and I was like, well, I might as well put one bike up in the back of the truck so I can save some space in my garage anyway. So Sean helped me put that in the back.
It's a good thing it's light because it ain't that easy to move, so I just got to put a few ratchet straps on that now and then.
Well, I don't want to lie, I just want to look cool driving around with my motorcycle in the back.
All strapped in, ready to go.
I have no idea how to properly strap in a motorcycle. If somebody has any idea, please let me know.
I put it back through the tire, looped it over to here, from the handlebar down to the other side to sort of compress the suspension, and then across from here to the other side.
I don't know. It didn't fall out when I lost an axle on the side of the highway, so it can't be that bad. The Tess wants me to go up and meet her at Campbellton Berry Farm because the girls are up at the petting zoo. Petting some goats and chickens and stuff, so I thought, well, let's go for a drive, why not? See how the old girl does. I just gotta turn on the log. Yeah. I thought the engine was knocking, but it's my door frame. Let's see what we got. I don't hear any ticking from the exhaust. That's definitely a good sign. I can still hear my lifter, but whatever. That's not a big deal. It's running good. Transmission in too before and then it cancel it and put a 4L80 in it. Doubt it. Worth a shot. Man, the turbos are loud. I gotta go in and throw some air in this tire. In this shocks, I mean, sorry.
every time. And I'm afraid that one day it's going to scrape through and start leaking. And I don't need that. There's a guy in front of me doing a speed limit. Like, why? It's like maximum 80-ish. They let me pass. That is hilarious. Might as well let the girls in gas know that I'm here. I got a little tiny bit of smoke coming off the turbos, but I'm going to attribute that to how much deep creep that I poured on it. In order to get, hi baby! In order to get the bolts that were broken out of the turbo. Okay, so I'm just going to load this tune in really quick, and yeah, it's smoking pretty good. I'm really hoping it's not leaking again, but it very well could be. Oh, it's nice not to yell again. That's crazy. My throat's so bad. So yeah, successful drive so far. It is smoking pretty good, but I'll deal with that later on when I get home, I guess. So I'm gonna finish it up here, and thanks for coming along on a drive again and helping me fix the rat rod and all that stuff, because you guys are my motivators. Because most days, sometimes it's kind of hard to get motivation up. But yeah, so I'm gonna sign off and go hang out with my girls for a bit. So thanks for checking out the channel, and thanks to all my YouTube members and subscribers and patrons. If you want to check out the Patreon, it's patreon.com/stationroadratrods, and my YouTube members link is down here. And also check out my spring store on the merch shelf under this video for hoodies and t-shirts and all that cool stuff, and that'll help me put gas and oil in this thing. So thanks for watching. Have a great day, everybody.